You guys were pretending like we didn't just do this for like 30 minutes.
Technical difficulties.
Yes.
Technical difficulties. But, however, good afternoon, you guys. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a guest. This is Jason. And Jason is from Alaska.
I am from Alaska.
AKA.
Originally from Minnesota.
Actually, he's not from Alaska. He's from Minnesota, but
There you go.
lives in Alaska.
Exactly.
AKA Earl. If you ever hear Courtney
my
talk
God.
about Earl.
We did not even listen to that song one time. I'm actually upset we
You're
didn't get to sing
right.
that to you.
Should have had that blaring on the
Usually,
boat.
yeah.
What the heck?
Usually you and Ray or Rachel are
Ray.
like
You and Ray.
You and Ray.
Ray.
You and Ray are always singing that app.
Always.
Yeah.
Like the other weekend, it came on, and I was like, gotta FaceTime Jason.
So she calls me.
Yeah.
And I missed the call. I call back literally 2 seconds later, and you're already singing another song, and you're like, it's too late. I gotta go. Bye. And you like hung up on me.
Shania's on. I gotta go.
And then you two are like belting singing.
And then I hung up. And he's like, you called me? And then you immediately hung up on me.
It's like that thing you see going around on Instagram where people call each other and they're like, hey, what's up? You're like, I'm busy. I got to go. I'm like, you're the one that called me.
It's exactly what happened.
Literally, it makes me laugh thinking about
So
it.
funny.
Rachel's like, you totally hung up on him. I was like, I had to sing Shania and he was ruining it for me. I was already over the Earl had to die. You go. I go, Shania's on. I got to go. You said, okay.
I totally
Okay.
understood. I'm like,
Got
we're
it.
good.
Got it.
I like waved as you're hanging up. I'm like, oh, all right, you got already.
I
All right.
see where I stand
Yeah.
between me and Shania.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a hard one to rank up with.
the chicks or Shania. I mean, Shania, if Shania's on, I'm singing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like immediately. So anyways, we should kind of do like a backstory on Jason and how we know him and, you know, the group, I
Yep.
guess.
Yeah.
We were saying before
Before
the technical difficulties. So Jason went to the same church that Ethan and I went,
Yep.
and also Rachel. We have a crew like of people that we've been friends with since literally childhood.
We were
Yeah.
like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
Like
Thick
a
as
core.
thieves.
Yes.
Yeah, to say the least.
You guys were thicker.
We were thicker. We're thick now, you know, you're part of it. But
Different
Ethan,
thick.
Ethan grew up and his parents still live. It's like a good half hour, 45 minutes
Yeah.
from where our church was. So Ethan had another group of friends
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he hung out with them more.
Yeah.
So growing up, Jason and my sister and me, he was like our older brother.
Yeah. I hung out with you guys all the time.
All the time.
We went everywhere.
Everywhere. He was older than us, so he drove first.
Yep.
And he had a car. So
Yep.
he would drive us everywhere. And me, Rachel, and him also just like hung out a lot.
Yeah.
So Jason has 2 brothers and I have a sister. And it's like and Ethan has 2 brothers. It's like when you don't have like what you like. I always like, I wish I had a brother.
Yeah. 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 And I
you
had
probably-
no sisters.
Yep. Ethan either.
I always wished we had a sister.
Yeah.
A baby sister.
Can you
to
imagine if you had a
protect.
sister though? Like think about that for 1 second.
So strange.
That'd be, I can't imagine you guys like having a sister. Like you guys would be so protective.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It'd have been bad.
Yeah. Like you'd be
her.
like, don't talk to her.
Can't have any boyfriends.
Don't even look at her.
Don't
Walk
even
away.
do it. So yeah. So Jason was basically like my brother and my
Yeah.
parents like think of you
Trusted
as a kid.
me wholeheartedly
Yep.
with your lives.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
Ethan too. Like it was like you two are their favorites.
Yeah.
Besides Steve. They love Steve. But
Yep.
But you and I, like, we spent the most time.
Yeah.
well, you guys are like
Absolutely.
the most helpful out of like any
We'd
men I
stick
know.
around and like do chores with them.
Like my mom would be like, "Hey, Jason, Ethan, can you help me?" You're like, "Yep,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yep."
I need you to
I'm gonna do that.
I need you to move our bedroom. Like every year they moved it like 2 or 3 times.
Every year they did it I think my mom gets bored every 3 months and she's like, let's rearrange the furniture.
Or gets a new mattress.
Yeah.
Like, we're around for heavy lifting.
She goes, I get like a return policy every year. So she's just like, this didn't work out.
Yep.
My yearly warranty is up. I need a new
I'm
one.
going to get a new one.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
She's like, I didn't like that other one.
Do you remember? Sorry to me.
No,
cut you off.
go ahead.
Do you remember?
Take over my podcast. No big deal.
It's Jason's podcast day.
He's like, sorry.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I need you to stop talking.
Anyway.
Where do I turn you?
Meow.
So, do you remember you used to spend the night with me after you were done seeing court? Then you just be like, hey man, can I just hang out with you?
Yes.
And so I would he'd tell me, hey, tonight I'll be over at your house. So I just shift over on my bed a little bit because
I know where this is going.
So yeah, and so I would shift over, and I had like a twin. It wasn't even that big of a bed. Maybe it was a full.
I can't even sleep barely on a king with him. I'm like, scoot over.
It was the girl.
He literally is. He's so big. I'm like, scooch.
And so I remember I'm like, it's
I know
2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'm just laying there, and I hear him come in. I'm like, hey buddy, and I flip the blankets back, and he jumps in, and we both go to sleep. And I remember I'm laying there, and all of a sudden his big old mitt just on my chest. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, whatever. And I kind of shift over a little bit, and then his leg comes over my leg, and I'm like, I am not strong enough to overpower this man. and then he starts rubbing my back, and I'm like, ooh, and I wiggled out of the bed, and I ripped the blankets off the top of the bed and put them on myself, and I went to sleep. The next morning, I wake up, and he sits up, he's like, what are you doing on there, bud? I'm like, you tried to have your way with me. And I was too scared to fight back.
So I slept on the floor.
So I was on the floor.
I was scared of you.
You would be.
He just breathes
Oh my God.
what's happening?
I'm in danger.
Stranger danger happening. Yeah, Ethan, or not Ethan, Jason is probably the most easygoing, chill person. And
Yep.
you could literally tell him what to do and he'll just.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'd be like, do it. You'd be like,
All right.
if you didn't want to, you're like, fine. Jason, let's do this.
And I
okay.
think that's why we're such good friends growing up, is that, we were down for whatever adventure. We
Yeah.
did some crazy stuff growing up.
Yeah, and it wasn't crazy. We were not doing drugs
We
or
didn't do
alcohol.
drugs.
Right.
We didn't smoke. We
Yeah.
didn't
Nope.
do any. We
Weird thing.
we were just wild.
You
Yeah.
just did stuff without thinking.
Yeah, all the time, all the time. We had a neighborhood behind our neighborhood, and when it was under construction, do you remember when? That just reminds me. We would ding dong ditch people all the time.
Of the time.
Remember when I was dating other Jason?
Yeah.
And we were all he was a wrestler, and he was kind of small, but he could run you couldn't even freaking hear him
He
running.
was the wind.
He,
We're all running, clomp, clomp, and he goes by.
You remember he rang the doorbell, and then we were waiting for him, and then all of a sudden he flew by, and we were like,
I didn't even see him coming.
you didn't even
And you just feel the wind, when your hair goes by. I'm like, who? Was that him? Oh, we gotta run.
we're running away. What?
Who was it when we were ding dong ditching and we were running in the woods and somebody in front of us just eats it and disappears as we're running? Do you remember that?
I can't remember who, but we had that we would hang out with Jason for a while when we were dating, and maybe it was Rachel. I don't know. I don't think
I could
so.
see that.
Yeah.
Just eating a log in the middle of the dark. Remember when I ding dong ditched the neighbor who had the concrete steps and then the wooden deck steps?
No.
And I rang the
I
doorbell
remember that
and
story.
ran down the deck, and I thought that was the end of it. So I run, and I'm bam, and eat the sidewalk.
Was this in Rachel's neighborhood or
No, it
my
was
neighborhood?
back behind yours.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
We ding dong ditch Rachel's neighborhood too, because there was so, and then the porch lights would go on, and we're like, never mind, abort.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah. So he's basically our, we were talking about this. I was asking him, I was like, do you remember ever specifically meeting Ethan or Rachel, Danielle?
I really what we've talked about this several times.
Yeah.
And I just think we were born growing up with each other.
Yeah.
We
Right.
were so young.
There wasn't a specific incident.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So worship leader kids
Yeah.
had to be at church all day.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
You had to be there super early.
An hour and a half.
I remember
early.
falling asleep in the pews.
We were talking about I was like, do you guys remember leaving church at
3
2 p.m. 2 p.m.?
2 p.m.
Do you remember when we had morning church and then we had evening church?
Yes.
When that was a thing?
Yep.
And then we'd go get lunch, and I'd be like, can I go to Rachel's house? Well, I'll come back when it's night church or whatever it was. Why did we have that?
Was it
night church, or was it just
It was an evening.
different meetings?
it was something
Maybe.
I remember it.
Was it on a consistent basis they had it?
It was for like, I feel like a short period of time where we were
Yeah.
just like randomly doing that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like we were literally, all of our memories is all church.
Always.
Yep.
Besides
the
then when
revival meetings.
the
like-
revival meetings, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember
Doug
you,
Stanton meetings.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
our memories didn't start getting out of church until you started driving.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of switched churches, and like your parents didn't leave until they moved to Alaska.
Nope. Yeah. We
Right.
stayed at Living Waters till 05.
Yeah. And that's when I graduated high school.
Wow.
My parents still attend there. We
Yep.
took a 1-year siesta and went to a church in Cambridge
Yep.
and then came back.
I remember that. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to see Ethan again. Do you remember thinking that?
Yeah.
Like, why would he come visit us? You know?
Right.
So weird.
Did I?
Not me.
Not for a year.
Probably my mom.
Probably your mom.
So we did worship practice at our house.
Yep.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
Upstairs.
Where?
Upstairs.
How?
I know.
Well, because the
Like,
first
your house is
however
tiny.
the
Yeah, it
first
was
however
nothing.
many years we met
Didn't
at
have a church.
Vandenberg
Yeah, you're
at
right.
middle school.
So you couldn't do it during the week.
And they
Right.
didn't have a church office
Yeah.
for a while. Once they had the church office, then they moved the practice to the church office.
Yes.
And so
wild.
he would come over to hang
Yeah.
out,
What would you guys do?
watch. Remember,
Play video games.
yeah,
or
play
something.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That Ethan doesn't even know how. He's
Right.
like,
I remember
I-
you like he,
The Anderson boys would just be sitting downstairs like a TV.
or every time the little character would jump, they'd like move their controller. Yeah.
Ethan with no
so good.
TV.
Yep.
Yeah, so one of our favorite memories, we have to share this story because it's like a
Iconic.
must of Courtney and Jason.
It's what explains us.
Yes, yeah. I'm like when Jason is around, it's like my brain is like, "Meow, we're not working. We're not working today.
And it's not like mine's much better.
Yeah.
Right.
We both are like, let's do it. You're like, yeah. Ethan's like the level-headed one. Like, you guys,
Maybe you shouldn't jump off that.
probably
Let's
not a good
give
idea.
this some thought.
Yeah,
Nah.
that's what Ethan says. Like, I don't have that many embarrassing moments because I think about things before I do them.
Because I actually think it's true.
I know.
Like,
I was like, what's that like? I don't know. I never like so one day he was bringing me home. I was like probably 15.
I think you were
So
15,
It was like
yeah.
Austin's age. Which I could never picture Austin doing something like this. So it's funny to think about.
Again, our kids don't do what we did.
No.
Not remotely.
Nothing.
No. So like we were driving, and in my neighborhood, to like when you're pulling in, there's like this little like
Call roundabout.
roundabout.
Yeah.
And Jason was going around it. He's kind of slow. We were going like 15, 20 miles an hour. And I kept looking out the window. And remember for a bit, I had the door open.
Yes.
And I was like,
You're just watching the road go by.
just looking
And I
at
kept
it.
yelling
Yeah.
at you to shut it.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I was like, and then I said to him, I'm gonna jump out. And he's like,
And I, no, you're not.
yeah. And I said, yes, I am.
I am.
And then you said, no, you're not. And then I went, boop.
And the next thing I notice is that she's scorpion skidding down the road,
Yes.
feet in the air.
Yeah. Yes. And I tumbled. Like
Yeah.
I specifically remember like going, because I just I didn't expect it. So like the wind got knocked out at me because I fully thought like I was going to like get out and like stand
And act like you just stopped moving.
and yeah. And bam,
Oh.
immediately. And it was funny is like we came home or pulled into my house and I had like ripped jeans.
Oh my God.
And let me back up now. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
she jumps out and immediately I see her like scorpion. She starts tumbling. There's beads flying everywhere because
You
she used to wear
immediately-
beads.
Ear.
And I slam on my brakes and my car's like, "Err," and I fling it in reverse and I come back and she's like, and she's laughing. She's like crying and laughing.
I was crying, laughing.
And she's like, I thought I could just stand up.
He thought I was crying. He was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh my God, Courtney. And I was like, I couldn't even speak. I was laughing so hard at my own self. Because I was
Yeah.
like, why would I do that? I don't freaking know.
It's like trying to get on a treadmill when it's like,
Yeah.
At like 25 miles an hour.
yeah, like you got to test
Can you
with your
imagine?
foot a little bit and then, all right, now.
Because you've seen those people get on those treadmills.
yeah.
And they
You
just
just eat it.
Boo!
Yeah,
They fling right off.
That was Courtney.
That was me.
Or somebody drops a headphone and bends over. And,
Oh my God. Your phone
Yep.
flies. You're like, "Ee."
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom, I would like pull in and my jeans are ripped. I was bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
My knee was bleeding. My hands were
Wrist,
bleeding, like
yeah.
literally everything. And she was like, what happened? And I was like, I jumped out of the van. And she's like looking at Jason like, what?
And I'm like, it had nothing to do with it. I was getting her home safely.
Yeah, he's like,
I
didn't.
told her bad idea.
He literally said, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
She jumped out all by herself. And she was fully like,
100% was like, oh, yeah, that tracks.
that sounds right. Sounds like something Courtney would do. She's like, I remember her cleaning the rocks out of my hand.
Oh,
She's
yes.
like, and I was like, oh, ow, ow. And she's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
I can't answer that question.
I literally in my brain like was looking at the way that it was going and I was like, if it feels slow enough.
Oh, my gosh.
Nope, jumped out.
So funny.
I'm glad I didn't knock my freaking teeth out.
Oh man.
Like, yeah.
Can you imagine? Like,
man.
like I am very glad. So, that was one of our stories that we just like forever. Courtney and Jason, like, why?
Yep.
I don't know.
It explains a lot.
It
Sure does.
really does. Like, I don't know. And then it's like always me, Rachel, Jason, we would go to Taco Bell.
Yes.
Ethan literally, I'll like mention Taco Bell. He's like, bleh.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Oh, we would get
His-
it all the time.
It just puts my stomach on edge.
Yeah.
It's like guaranteed. If I
Yeah.
have Taco Bell, I know later on today.
It's coming back.
He'll be all crabby about it too. Like, ugh, I have to go to the bathroom. Taco
I
Bell's
knew this
coming
would
back.
happen.
Yeah, every time.
Know it.
I love Taco Bell still to this day.
We even tried to
do.
go while I was here.
We tried.
We've gone to like literally every food thing.
State Fair.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing at the State Fair? Jason hasn't been to the State Fair in like
It has
20 years.
20 years. I have not been in 20 years. It was
Ethan,
awesome.
stop it.
Can't help it.
He's like, I'm bored. We already did
I'm
this
in my
twice.
in my safe spot.
Just kidding. Yeah.
We've already gone through all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite food. At
Yeah.
that pizza.
The dill pickle pizza.
Yes, was incredible.
Ethan, I think you need to recreate it
I'm gonna.
on the uni.
Yep.
I think you can do it. Because
do
that
it.
cream sauce, whatever it was,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
legit. It's
garlicky. It was like dilly.
Dill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dilly ranch.
Where's my phone?
I'll find it. I've looked it up before and found like a copycat recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so good.
Just the toppings, and I'll throw it in the uni.
I'm actually really upset we didn't get the like taco. The like
Oh,
The
the dill cheese curd taco or something. It does
Where
sound
was that
amazing.
at? Was that the
I
one that
don't
had the donut?
No.
I was not a fan of the donut.
No. Ethan spit it out.
Yeah, the dill pickle donut.
Yeah.
That was
Blech.
Yeah.
even just the sprinkled donut you got, it was dry.
it was dry.
The donuts were not good at
Well,
that
we
place.
didn't wait in line for the peaches. We shoulda.
Yeah, Courtney's
Really
still real salty
day.
about that.
I'm pissed about
the
it.
line was so long.
It was I don't know what's worth standing in a line sometimes.
Right.
Like, am I gonna get this and I'm gonna be like annoyed that I waited 2
Right.
hours?
Or are you going to be like, I am so glad I waited?
Yeah. Like, remember when Krispy Kreme came to Minnesota?
Yes.
And the line was
ridiculous.
constantly so long.
Yeah.
But that was like a drive through. Like, we're talking the State Fair where there's like 200,000 people a day
yeah.
that go. We were there at like 8:30.
It was packed.
And the
Yeah.
line for the was all the way down the street, a couple streets. It
and
seemed
then
like.
it
it-
turned.
Yeah, it probably would have been, if we would have gotten in line right then, it would have been at least a 2-hour wait, I bet.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, forget it. Well,
Ridiculous.
That was
I know. I'm going to look it up after this because I'm like obsessing about it because Rachel was like, oh, so good. And I was like,
I don't want to hear you talk about it.
stop talking about it.
Because that was an actual, like, some of the places that we go to at the state fair are like a standing location, like in the food building, the cheese curds.
Yes.
Like, the only
It's
time you
always
can get them
there.
is there.
Yeah.
During the 2 weeks of the state fair. But like the donut place,
Was it-
whatever, Peachy's Amish Donuts, whatever it's called, was an actual food truck.
Yep.
So maybe you can
Camper
get somewhere
thing.
else.
So,
I know. I'm like, where are you going to park?
I mean, why would you
Yeah.
want to, as a company, why would you want to miss out on that revenue? If
I
you
doubt
made
they
all
do.
that from the state fair,
Yeah.
like, go park at big events.
Yeah.
Can you imagine working that? Like, I'm like,
Oh,
oof, those people in there. And it was like ungodly hot the
Yeah,
last.
so hot.
Just
2 or
the
3
deep
days.
fryers, just
From Alaska, I'm not used
my
to
God.
this heat.
Oh my God. Jason's dying.
I like I'm
Absolutely dying.
cooked.
He's fried.
Oh yeah, I have spent maybe an hour and a half in the sun, and I am cooked.
Yeah. Well, yesterday it was all day.
Yesterday was all day, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
you
I
sunscreen,
did.
whatnot, but
yeah, I still burned.
still,
sunscreen didn't help.
no. Did it work? I don't know. Like, you're fried. I didn't even get burned.
You didn't get
at
burned.
all.
Yeah.
We should have sprayed a design on him with the sunscreen.
We could have.
On my back. Hey, you're all good.
Yeah, you're good. So the reason Jason's here is because A, he loves our family.
Yeah.
But B, we did the surprise party for my parents.
Yep.
And I am happy to say it was a success.
It was so worth it.
Yeah. My sister, who, of course, also grew up with Jason and Ethan.
Right.
She didn't know Jason was coming.
No,
me and my sister were planning it. And
Danielle kept asking me questions about when I was coming, and she's excited and showing me all the paper, the advertisements she had for it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what happened, but at some point I texted you and said, hey, I'm going to tell Danielle I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, you just said, just go with it. And I was like, what are you talking about?
And so then I started giving Danielle this story of like, hey, I can't make it because there was stuff going on at work. And then she's like, oh my gosh. And then she texted you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to talk about it.
She said, Jason's not coming? ? And I was like, don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. So, which is something I totally would do because 100%. I'd be like, immediately I'm annoyed about it and I don't even want to talk about it.
Standard court response.
So mad. Like, I'll just be crabby all day thinking about it.
Even had to make a video of like, hey, sorry I couldn't be there.
Yeah, love you guys.
Yep.
So surprising her was awesome.
Yeah, she literally like shook. Like,
she started punching me really hard.
Screamed and shook.
Sounds about right. She hits you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, and then my parents, they thought we were going out for my sister and Matt's anniversary, and they thought we were going on a steak, whatever. Going
to a nice steak dinner.
Yeah.
We had to cover all of our bases.
Yeah,
we
did.
legitimately made a reservation at like our favorite steakhouse that Dave and Renee like as well. Mm-hmm. We knew there'd be like tons of cars parked on our street, so we're like, hey, FYI, on the day of, like, our neighbors are having a big Labor Day party. We're going to stop down there for a little bit.
Yep.
And we'll come back around 6.
There's going to be a lot of cars park in the driveway.
Yeah. So we covered all of our bases, and they luckily had no idea, which is rare because
it's rare.
She's psychic.
Yeah.
Her mom and Courtney, she gets it from her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't surprise me.
You have a gift.
They should have been investigators on the police force or something.
For real.
I'll be like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you acting like, you could be like, we're going here. I'm like, why? Why are we going there?
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like, I can just tell sometimes.
Even through text.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Like text. I'll be like, Jason, are you crabby? And he's like, how do you know?
How do you know
like,
I'm crabby?
I'm in Alaska.
I'm trying to hide.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about it. Yeah, my mom, there's like, when she comes on, we'll have the whole story. But like one time she found out, we were trying to keep a secret from her, and she ended up finding it out.
Yep.
And it's just because she's just that way.
She was calling places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flowers.
Why was there flowers delivered?
She wanted proof.
Yeah. And it's funny to me because like the flowers that she was referring to, she was like, why did you get flowers? And I was at work and I was like, I didn't get flowers. And she's like, well, you're going to get flowers because they just got delivered. And this was before like video
ring camera.
doorbells.
Yeah.
Like I was like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Like I'm not even home.
And you legit had not gotten them yet.
No, I didn't. And then I was like, oh, there's my freaking flowers when I got home. Like, what the heck? So yeah, you could tell for like a good, like 2 hours, they were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is all happening. And there's this many people.
It worked out so good.
It
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
They still are like, thank you for my mom cried the whole time.
She's still sending text messages like, I love you guys so much.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It was
It's like, I can't believe you came from all the way from Alaska.
Yes.
Like, yep.
The video once the garage door came up.
Yeah.
And then you hear like her saying hi to everybody, and then she's like, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my dad's like, what? What? No way. Like they just fully thought we were going to have steak. Did you see their picture? My mom posted on Facebook, like, date night.
Yes.
They literally came wheeling into the driveway like, all right, we're ready to go. Jump in the car.
Yeah.
Like just, like, hey, we want to do a video quick.
Yeah.
Which is not out of the ordinary for court.
My mom's like, okay, what are we doing? Are we jumping?
Are we jumping?
I was like, no, mom. We're just going to do a dance. Okay. And we were matching. So she was all like, oh my God, we're matching. It was classic. It was great.
It was perfect.
Yeah. So the thing that they did back in the day was when we were younger.
Yeah.
They did like a worship night type thing, and it was called The Edge.
Yep.
And there was like so many kids that would come, like teenagers, and it was like every other Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Friday.
I think it was.
It doesn't matter.
I can't remember. I thought it was Saturdays because some
Maybe it
kids
was.
would stay over and go to
Because
church
we'd stay
after.
up so late.
yes, that's
yeah.
right.
And then
That's
we'd go to
right. You're
church
right.
and we'd all be like,
Just zoned out.
Dead.
Yeah.
we all had church last night. But it would be like rock band. So and it would be fun because we would just like all hang out and have pizza. So we ordered pizza.
Play games.
Yep.
Cookies. I
It was
mean,
awesome.
Yeah.
it was a blast.
It was everyone who went, I think, just like has a very good, fond memory of it.
And at
Yeah.
that time, there wasn't any place like we had youth group,
Right.
Yeah.
but we had church, but there was no in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you got a little older,
Yeah.
you had to like,
Like almost college age.
yeah, and you
Like
had to.
college, you're like, you can't go to youth group anymore.
You're
Right.
too old for youth group, and
Yeah.
your parents gave kids that like, hey, here's a place where you can hang out and like
Be safe.
be safe,
Yeah.
be yourself,
Yeah.
Judgment free.
judgment free, and still like worship God and like almost at that pivotal moment of where you decide for yourself, like,
Right,
Yeah.
what am I
right.
doing?
Yeah.
And they gave you that like here, like,
Yeah.
this is not a judgment place.
Like
Yep.
no pressure.
Yeah.
Even and it was a lot of kids too that would invite friends that didn't necessarily they weren't Christians, but
Yep.
they were kind of like, I'm interested.
Right.
But nobody
Too scared
felt
to go
like
to
you're like,
church.
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Because it's
totally
judgmental.
comfortable to go to
yeah,
parents.
churches you can feel judgment.
yeah,
Right.
And
Just
we
naturally.
are all grew up in a church.
Yep.
So we know, like, I feel like I'm like, I know it
Yeah.
can be like that where you're like, you
Absolutely.
can't have your nose pierced or whatever.
Or drink
you know,
or whatever.
Drink,
yeah, exactly.
All the things.
get implants.
But yeah, churches in general,
Sinner.
like so many kids would not even. It's harder to invite kids to like an
Yeah.
actual youth group at church
Yeah.
as opposed to just in a house. Like,
Right.
what's more welcoming?
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
building or a home that's just
Yeah.
comfortable and
And you're
warm
just
and-
hanging out. You didn't have to do anything. Like you could
Yeah.
literally sit on the couch and talk to your friend the whole entire time. And my
Yep.
parents weren't like, you gotta get up and worship.
No, there was
They were
no
like, do what
structure
you
to
do.
it.
As
Yeah.
long as you were in the house
Yeah.
hanging out, they're like, you be you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it was like, you don't want like your kids going out on a Saturday night and like partying and all
No.
that stuff. It's like nice to have a place where you're like, okay, I know my friends could be grounded, but they could be like, well, you can go to Lesnar's.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you go to the Edge? You're like, yeah, fine, you can go there.
Yep.
That's it. Like, but you're grounded. Did you ever get grounded?
I got grounded. Oh, yeah.
You did get grounded.
did.
Did you ever get like I don't remember ever being like you're grounded.
Yeah.
I don't feel like my parents ever grounded me.
I was grounded a bunch.
You were in trouble all the time.
I got in trouble.
Your dad.
man. I can't say
You were
that.
supposed to mow the lawn. And we're like, you're like, I have to mow the freaking lawn today. I can't even go to the lake.
Yeah.
Kicking it like his dad's like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you? Well, you were in trouble all the time, but did you get grounded?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you have to stay home.
yeah, I think it was like being grounded from hanging out with friends.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I mean, there wasn't like anything they could
Take away.
take away.
Yeah.
Really. I didn't have a cell phone or
Right,
like anything
yeah.
like that. I didn't have a TV.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to stop me from playing in the woods? Like,
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I think we talked about this before our technical
Difficulties. Yeah.
your mini bike.
Oh, yeah.
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 God, I remember riding that thing around, and it had a silver handle
Yep.
and a gold handle. One was gas, one was brake.
Can you imagine seeing a mini bike right now as a full grown adult and being like, what the heck?
How did I fit on this thing? Little tiny-
It's a little 8 horsepower Briggs and Stratton
Yeah.
engine.
Oh
just-
my God.
And I remember like at his house, we're riding it around, and I come to a stop, and I couldn't remember which one it was. So I grabbed both, and it stops, and it's like, and then I let go, and I let go.
spooling up.
Yeah, I let go of the brake, and it just shot like an arrow straight into a tree.
Yep.
Oh my God.
A bit through my lip, like my tooth is poking through my lip.
gosh.
Blech.
Dude, I got
And you didn't need stitches.
no stitches.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You got stitches on your nose. We were talking about.
actually recently, well,
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I guess. But
I have had stitches one time, and that was with my surfboard accident.
your
That's the
surfboard-
only time.
Yeah.
I don't remember your surfboard.
In
accident.
Hawaii.
I was in Hawaii like a couple years ago for
What?
work.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
I
now.
was like, no, it like flung back and hit me in the face.
Yep.
And then I remember like the people like it happened. I jumped in and I jumped behind the board, and it's like so buoyant. It like basically is like
Shot backwards.
styrofoam. Is what would you?
Yeah,
kinda?
and you're tethered to it.
Yeah,
But
you're
it's-
tethered to it. So basically, it shot forward and then shot back, but the fin part like went boom right into my eye.
Hard plastic
That's
fin.
right.
And I literally was like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. But then I was like, I am like, even when I broke my arm, I did not cry. Like, I am like,
You have a high pain
that was
tolerance.
scary,
Yeah.
but like, I'm like, I don't want to make it a big deal. So then like, I'm like swimming back and I was just like, kind of like, ow. And then I touched it and I was like, holy shit, that feels real big. Like it felt poofy. And then the surfers in front of me were like, and I go, am I bleeding? And they're like, yeah, you need to go in. And I was like, okay. And then I
Have
remember,
sharks coming.
blood was just dripping down on my surfboard. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I
Yep.
looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, that is really scary.
Yeah.
Because
And actually,
it was big.
the fin hit you.
Yeah.
The fin. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I'm like, no, I don't want to go surfboarding. Thank y'all.
Gonna have
surfing.
to eventually.
I know. I feel like I will, but now I know not to jump off the back of it. You
Yep.
jump off the side of it.
Yep.
So just so everybody else knows, don't make this mistake that I did. Because I could have lost my eyeball.
Dude, that could have hurt so bad.
You could have.
I could have.
It
Like,
was-
it was literally like,
It's like a
right
quarter
there.
inch away from your eyeball.
And you had to get stitches for that.
Yeah, I got a couple.
That's
and the
right.
guy, thank God, he was from
Well,
like,
there's not much
Iowa.
up here. It's just like, it was probably through to the skull.
Yeah, it probably did.
Eck. But yeah, it was like kind of like a slash, like like almost like a Nike symbol.
Yeah.
Like a check
Wow.
mark, wasn't it?
Yep.
And then the guy who was doing it, he was from Iowa, and I remember he was like, "Oh, I did, whatever, some training with."
He did like his
plastic surgeon.
residency with
Yeah.
plastic surgeons.
So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this stitch and da da da." You won't even
Yeah.
notice, and you can't
Because
even
you
see
can't see it.
It. No,
Yeah.
I mean you can sometimes. Like
I don't see it.
I
there's
still
like different angles.
yeah, I'll still be at company events and people come up and be like,
Oh my God.
"How's your wife? How's her
we-
eye?"
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had to I had to get an ambulance and everything because
Yep.
they were super nervous. Ethan was out there surfing, and the guy
Yeah.
was like, Ethan's like, "What is my wife coming back?" And he's like, "Oh, she'll be fine. Go ahead, surf."
Well, because I saw you go down and then you popped up and I was like, "You okay?" And I saw like this side and I didn't see anything wrong. You're like, "Yeah, I think I'm fine." And so the guy took me out to catch the next wave and then like she's going in. I'm like, "Can I go in with her?" "No, she's fine. Nothing's wrong. We just wanted to make sure she was all good, check her out. You just keep catching waves." And then I caught like another wave and I'm like, "I'm going in. I'm just going to make the decision. Like, you're not keeping me out here." I get up there and there's an ambulance and I'm like, "You were literally just going to keep me
excuse me?
surfing and take my wife to the hospital without telling me?" Like, hello.
I kept waiting. I was like, "When's Ethan coming?"
I know.
Because Debbie, she came up
Yeah.
and she was like talking to me. She like planned the whole thing.
Yeah, she's our event
the
planner.
whole with this whole company, and she's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like sitting there like, "Is it bad?
Yeah.
Like, is it bad?" Like, and I'm the kind of person, I'm like, I need to see it.
Yep.
Like, and they're like,
Yeah.
no.
You don't want to look at this.
I know. And I was like, "It's that bad?"
Well,
But
and
I
you were
could feel it was.
you were kind of going into shock too, because I remember
Yeah.
Debbie running and getting like some granola bars or something for you.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of like,
I was
starting to get,
feeling
like-
shaky.
Yeah,
and
like
then
the
I was
shock.
like nervous. Like,
Yep.
am I going to die?
Yep.
No, it's your eye. Like,
it was
calm
great.
down. I-
Everybody took care of her the whole rest of the trip.
Oh yeah, they're all like medical
Debbie was
sales reps.
great.
They're like, "Oh, you need arnica. I have this like silicone something."
Oh,
blah,
we
blah,
have
blah,
we
blah,
have a
blah."
wound care division, so people have wound care dressings they're giving her. and-
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
That is hilarious.
but when I broke my arm too, I was also like, I remember being like, my mom's like,
Is
"Oh
this normal?
Wait, I wasn't involved with that, right?
no,
Okay, good.
no."
You
Nope.
pushed her out of the tree.
Jason did it.
That I would do.
Yeah. Go.
Get out of here.
And then you'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." So Jason actually, so he grew up in Minnesota,
Yep.
and then after I graduated, Ethan and I were dating at the time. His family all moved to Alaska,
Yep.
and I was pissed.
I know. Like my dad called up, and you guys remember Sam Platt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam and Angie.
No.
For the record, for just saying. So I lived down in the bottom of Sam's house, and so
Because you work together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Had your parents already moved?
No. My dad had moved to Alaska for work, and so he was up there for
Temporarily.
Yeah, to like try it out, and he was up there for the whole summer, and then he calls my mom and says, "Hey, we're gonna probably move," but he didn't tell me yet. So he comes back, and then he's like, "Jason, I'm selling the house. We're moving to Alaska, taking your brothers and your mom with. Do you want to come with?" And so then I was stuck with a decision. I was like, my whole family.
Yeah, because it's 18. He's just giving you the option.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I told him, I was like, I'll try it out for 2 weeks. And so then, but I didn't tell you.
No.
And so I don't know how you found out.
I asked you because you never told me, but it's like I knew you were gonna.
That's right.
Because obviously I just knew. I was like, are you gonna? I said we were in the truck, and I literally remember it was the three of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Were we in my truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And I was in the middle. It was like Ethan, me, Jason, and I was like, I don't know. Alaska came up, and I was like, you're not gonna move, are you?
And I was
but I knew it.
Broke eye contact. I was like,
he's dead silent. I was like. And then they're both like super. I do not cry. So like,
don't cry.
Like, what do we do?
So they both were like, "Oh my god, she's crying," and then you just do this like.
I was too scared to like. Is she gonna kill me if I touch her? Like
a courtesy pat. Just
it's okay.
Ethan's
okay.
like holding my leg,
check.
like, babe, it's okay. Like,
oh man,
it's okay. Because we should talk about like we were, as far as Rachel, like Rachel's obviously my best friend, but Jason, before even Ethan, because Ethan had his own friend group.
Yeah.
Like Jason was my best friend.
Yeah.
Besides Rachel.
Yeah.
And like my parents thought, I mean, I never, like you were like my
parents
brother.
And your parents just assumed that we were always together.
Yes.
And we were. Like we went everywhere.
And for the record, we never dated nothing.
Not even nothing.
No, not even. And so it is like, I think some people think it's, Ethan, what do you think?
What?
Like being friends with the opposite sex. Like I feel like you're so, I don't know. You're used to it. I don't know.
Yeah. With you and Jason, you mean?
Yeah. Like, have you ever like been like, this is weird?
No, because I mean, we grew up
knew,
together.
Yeah.
Like I had
you had relationship with both of us.
Well, right. But
Yeah.
I was going to say I can relate because I had a friend growing up.
That was a girl.
that we were like best friends.
Yeah.
Up through high school.
Got
and
it.
so
Yeah.
I know it's possible
And-
to have a relationship like that without the
Yeah, like a platonic,
romance.
like you're the opposite sex, but we are like literally just best friends.
We have always seen it ourselves as like we've said before, like brother, sister,
sibling.
yeah.
sibling.
Like we literally fight like
we
that.
would fight.
We would.
We would.
My parents would be like, knock it off, you guys.
Do I need to ground you both?
my mom, like you just were, and still to this day, like Jason's wife JoJo,
Yeah.
like she knows we're best friends.
Yep.
But they all stay here and we all hang out and talk. And
Yeah.
Yep.
I know I've read it before. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he over here?
Yeah.
Does Ethan know?
Does Ethan know about him? I can't
Ethan's
see
like-
him.
I'm
Ethan's like,
invisible.
yes. But we are all like, I mean, when you guys come with family, like our kids are all friends.
Oh, yeah,
and
Yep.
exactly.
So, but Jason has 6 kids, you guys.
Jeez.
6
I have not figured it out yet.
children. So how it works is
There's a procedure that you can have done.
Some people make jokes like, man, you should like watch TV or something. I don't
you're like, I have better things to do. So you have from the ages,
Sammy's 14. She's
14.
my 1st. And then I have Joe. He's 12. Quinn is 10. Millie is 7. Danelle's 4. And then I have a 7-month-old Wells.
Yep.
Yep. So 3 boys, 3 girls.
Oh my God, I guess I never really put that together because they're like out of order.
Right.
John and Ashley have 2 boys, 2 girls. And I always am like, wow, that's so like handy.
And they
You know what I mean?
they
Like, that does
alternated.
not- yes,
Yeah.
they alternated girl, boy, girl, boy,
Or I am like girl, boy, boy, girl.
girl,
boy.
boy.
Yeah.
Yep. But I've never counted like, oh, you do.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
Yeah. So are we done having kids?
Probably. I don't know.
I know a guy and give you his number.
In Minnesota. Who knows what they do in Alaska?
Right? Jeez.
Just no
I don't think
medicine.
it's working.
No.
Yeah. No medicine, just cut you right open.
Swing.
I was literally in the room when they did it for Ethan, and I was like, it's like, I'm like,
I'm so terrified of that whole thing.
he was black and blue.
See?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
black and blue. It
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Oh, thanks.
it was more like scary to look at than it was painful.
Did you look
Did
at
they
it?
numb you?
Well, yeah.
No.
Why would you not?
No.
Not while it was being
happening.
done.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah.
not
No,
that
I just
flexible.
I literally remember, you know how in the doctor's office they have like the ceiling tiles and then they'll have one that's like colorful for you to look at. It was like an ocean beach scene that I just like,
focus on that.
it's like, go to my
I'm on the
happy
beach.
place.
I'm on the beach.
That's like the dentist. You're like
Yeah.
looking at the tile. Yeah. The nurse just like washing him up and like, so how's
Just
like
scrubbing you up with warm soapy water.
Oh, so Ethan's like, yeah, I have 3 kids. She's pregnant with a third. It's wild.
Yeah.
It is really weird.
Man.
But
Yeah, it's more like a for 2, 3, 4 days, like a kind of like a deep ache after somebody kicked you in the goods.
oof.
Ugh.
Not the immediate feeling, but just kind of
That
that
dull,
lingering,
like,
dull
lingering
ache.
pain.
Yeah, it's not unbearable by any means.
Yeah. Try having a kid.
There's no way.
No.
Nope.
Having Grayson, I was like, nope.
Yeah, seeing you have Grayson, I was like,
That was like that guttural, like, like Ethan was like, the way that
No
you
drugs.
yelled, I was like, I don't even want to talk about it.
You
It
did
felt
great
like
with no drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt satanic.
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 Sa-
How do you say it?
satanic.
Satanic.
I was like, I forgot. I like forgot how to say it. But yeah,
You're like, Courtney.
Yeah,
are you okay? I'm like,
I forgot that you did no drugs with Gray.
yeah.
JoJo
Well,
has, right?
She's not done drugs with any of them except for Wells.
Oh, Wells, she did.
And Wells, there was something wrong. I can't remember exactly. She'll have to remind me, but
Yeah.
he wasn't coming out,
Oh, she just like needed to relax.
and she needed
maybe?
to relax because she had been in labor for so long.
Oh, yeah. Rachel was like that. Rachel was like so tense that like once she got meds, things, you know how sometimes when women are in labor, it's like almost like they get medicine. I don't know if you've ever heard, but like Danielle was like that. Like you're in labor and you're going and then you get medicine and then it slows labor
Yeah.
down.
Yes.
Well, Rachel was like the opposite. It was like she was so tense. Then she got meds and it was like,
Her relaxing opened
Helped.
her up.
sped it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
so
Okay.
anyways, I don't know how we got into that subject.
Well, yeah, you were
It's my kids, 6 kids.
Oh yeah, there we go.
supposed to be, or Grayson was supposed to be a water dural.
Yes.
They call it, like an epidural. It's an aquadural or water dural
Wait.
or whatever.
Is that where you like get in a tub and have
Yeah,
the baby?
Yeah,
it was
you
supposed to
gotta
be.
do that?
It was
I
supposed to be a water birth,
I didn't.
but
know
it
that.
happened so quick they couldn't get it set up in time. Like they literally
They said-
pulled out a portable.
They pulled it out.
tub. They were going to blow up.
Yeah, they said you have to be at a 7 before you can get in the tub. It was like a new rule.
Yeah.
And I went in and they were like, you're at a 5. And then Ethan went down to go get our bags, came back, and I was like pushing at that moment.
What?
Yeah, he ran. He like,
If I would have walked
yeah.
to the
You wouldn't have
parking
made it.
ramp, I would have missed Grayson being born.
I had
Yeah.
no idea.
It was
He
like a
came so
matter
fast.
of 15 minutes from us being
Yes.
admitted that she gave birth to Gray.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It's called something. And it was, I almost like, I kind of low-key had like nightmares about it because it happened so fast and it was so intense. Like it was like,
You basically birthed a kid in like an hour, like from start
Yes,
to finish.
yes.
You like hit
Like,
the fast forward button.
it's funny because like,
Is it precipitous
yes,
labor?
yes, because Jessa had it too. And it's when you have a baby within,
It says precipitous labor. Your baby is born within 3 hours of regular contractions starting.
yes.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So Grayson, I remember it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, I think I'm in labor. And it was like super not consistent at all. We got to the hospital and they were like, the nurse was like, I'm not even going to check you. I'm just going to book you. And then by the time we got in there, like I felt like I had a whole on, so many things happened when Ethan went to go get the bag and come back.
Wow.
And he's like, I was not gone that long.
Yeah, you got
He was
into the
sweating
shower.
when he came back. That's how fast he was running.
And
'cause
you
he
were
was like,
pushing.
and I was like, Ethan. like that.
It's like a singer for a death metal band.
Like it just like came out. And then I remember being at the sink and I like looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, get yourself together. Like get it together. And then I was on my tippy toes the whole time because I felt like that helped. And I went.
The gymnastics tippy toes.
Yes. Like literally like bing. Oh, even the nurse was like, were you a dancer? You were on your toes the whole time.
No, I'm having a baby.
No, I'm a gymnast. I don't know. But I remember being like, and I was like, oh my God, I pushed. I didn't even try. I don't know why that happened. It's like my body just did it.
On its own.
On its own. And then I was like, where is Ethan? And then he came and boom.
Wow.
My mom called.
I did not know this story.
My mom called and she's like, we're on our way.
Yeah.
And that was after I said, Ethan, don't tell my parents or my mom and sister to come until we're booked in the room.
Right.
So he's like, we're booked in the room. And then she called 15 minutes later and I had already had him. She's like, we're on our way. Hope we don't miss it.
They're like, we stopped to get some gum and some water bottles.
Do you guys need anything?
You're ready for like the long haul of birth. Like,
yes, like a normal.
and so we played it off like, okay, sounds good. She's in labor.
They go, yeah, Dad, you can come in and you can come see her. She's just relaxing. And he comes in and he's like, oh, how you doing? And I was like, good.
No way.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Oh,
what?
no,
Like he's
just
like
tears.
crying.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
We still have the
My
video
mom-
somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere on my phone.
That's awesome.
My mom's like, I knew it. I knew you were going to have this baby without me. I knew it. See, she just knew. I was like, Mom,
Psychic.
he came so fast.
Wow.
Flew right out and he never stopped
it was
moving.
pretty cool.
Since.
No, he's pretty fast.
But didn't with Gray, I feel like you lost a lot of blood when you passed the placenta.
Is that because he came out so fat?
I don't know, but I remember.
I feel like you had to have like
a shot. They gave me a shot of
to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
To clamp up.
Clamp up?
Yeah, like to like get everything to like
coagulate.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like I don't know. I don't know what it was, but after he came out, then they pulled the placenta out, and then it was like all of a sudden all this blood went whoosh.
It literally
and it went up my back.
Whoa!
It filled the whole table, and Ethan and the nurse and everybody was like, "It's kind of a lot." I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
it
the
felt
midwife
like my water
was like,
broke. They were like, "No, that's blood."
Yeah.
Wow.
You know when the
Yeah.
midwife's like,
Yeah.
what?
You're not supposed to say
Yeah.
She's like, "I think
Doctors
we're
don't
gonna
say,
have to give you a shot for all of that." And
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And I don't think JoJo's had.
Our fastest one was Quinn, and I've always been a really good judge of like all of our kids' labors. I watch JoJo and I see as she progresses.
Yeah.
And with Quinn, I'm watching her because she loves to labor at home.
Yeah.
So she'll labor at home for a while, and then once
I feel like everybody should do that. You're just more comfortable
you're
at
more
home.
you're in your spot.
Yeah.
All of her sisters come over and everybody
Yeah.
hangs out, and
Yeah.
it's just like a good time. Well, anyways, I'm watching her and she's progressing, and I'm like, hey, you're getting kind of close. And I remember like my brother-in-law being, Jason, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, I think this is
it.
Yeah. Anyways, we waited too long, and we got to the hospital, and as soon as she got in, they put her on a stretcher. And she's like, I'm pushing. And the nurse is like, no, you're not pushing. She's like, oh my God, she's pushing. And literally he came out like within minutes.
Wow.
So it's not
In the hospital or no?
we made it to the hospital
Oh.
literally within minutes. Had we been there 10 minutes later, we would have had it.
A baby
Like,
in the
I knew
car.
it.
Yeah, it would have been. I
Yeah.
even told JoJo while we were driving there, I'm like, we are not having this baby in this truck.
Yeah.
Don't
I mean, it
even
would have
think
made a
about
great story.
It
It
would have been pretty amazing.
It would have been, but
would have been a messy truck.
But that was
Yeah.
only the only reason was that she labored so long at home. It wasn't like it was just a fast labor in itself.
right. Yeah. I think Grayson but I know a couple people now because Mandy, Rachel's sister, she came and she had a really quick birth with him.
Really?
Like they were like it was so fast. It was like intense.
Wow.
And it's actually so like it's almost traumatizing how fast and how intense it is.
Yeah.
Because I told Rachel, she was like, "How was it?" I was like, "I will never do that again."
Right.
Like that, it scared me
I can only
almost
imagine.
because it was just like, "Ugh," and they're like, "We can't even give you any made,"
Nothing.
because like
It's too soon,
they
yeah.
checked me, I was a 5, and then
Yeah.
the next they checked me, they're like, "You're at a 9.5. You have to," and I couldn't even walk from like here to here because that's where the bed was, and I just like had a freaking contraction every
Yep.
second.
Wow.
It felt like.
It's funny thinking about his personality. Like, makes sense how quick this labor was.
Sounds right.
Just constantly moving.
Yeah.
Time to go.
But the world's chillest baby.
Yep.
Like didn't talk, didn't cry, didn't anything. Just
Yep.
then he started walking and he just.
As soon as he was mobile,
Boom.
we haven't slept right since. Just kidding.
No.
He sleeps great.
Kids do that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like my parents are here.
I think so. I
think I heard
dogs
noise downstairs.
barking.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we gotta go. Do we have any other story that we should share before we shared the van?
Gosh, there's so many.
You forgot about the snow on this one, the snowbank.
The snowbank.
You doing that?
Yep.
I didn't do that.
Did we tell that story?
Not on this one.
Not on this one. Okay.
You can quick.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
So every winter, we used to have good winters.
Yeah,
Yes,
we used
back
to get
in the day.
a
We used to
crap
get-
ton of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one day, I think it was even you that suggested it. It was like, Jason, let's go take your truck and go sled back on the roads. I'm towing you guys around the back part of your neighborhood.
Where were you? Because you were with us, but were you in the cab? Because I
Maybe.
remember you were there.
I can't remember if he rode in like the bed of the truck, maybe.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah.
maybe. Because I was like, where was Ethan?
But anyways, I'm towing you guys around in the back, and it's just a saucer, so it doesn't it just when you take a corner, it whips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember hitting a snowbank, and you bailed
Yeah.
just before the snowbank.
Yep.
And Rachel
held on for dear life.
and I remember she hit the snowbank, and she goes into the air, and she's like spread eagle, and hits the stop sign.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And literally spins like a throwing star.
Yeah.
And you could hear the ping.
You could. And I remember being like, Rachel! Because I thought she hit her head, and we were
Yeah.
not wearing helmets.
No helmets.
We should have been.
Oh,
Nobody
we were
wore
not.
helmets
we
back
No.
then.
again are the thinking part of us.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, my mom was like, you guys are done. We were like, it's fine. We all were like, I remember Rachel's elbow got massive,
Huge.
and we all were like, did she break it? Like,
Yeah.
I feel really bad if she just broke her arm right
Yeah.
now.
Dude.
Which it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know how she didn't break her arm.
Oh, I don't know. But the neighbor was outside and came running over and was like, I heard her hit the
From
sign.
inside the house.
Yeah. And she's like, is she okay? We were like, I think she didn't say anything
so.
for a
She
while. So I was like,
Remember you? Yeah, she's laying in the
Rachel.
snow, and you're like, Rachel, are you okay?
yeah. She's like,
I think she was deciding for herself
Yeah.
if she was okay or
she's
not.
like, I think so. I don't know.
Checking on all the symptoms.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the systems. I should say.
All this, like,
Everything's still working.
Heartbeat,
Yeah.
breathing. I don't see Jesus yet.
I can wiggle my toes.
I'm okay.
Fingers.
I'm okay. We didn't die. Anyways.
Man.
So, yeah, we got to go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
We would have had all the technical difficulties. It's fine. It's fine.
fine.
It's fine. It's
We're
fine.
good.
Fine.
So Jason's going back to Alaska tomorrow.
Yep, bright and early.
Yeah. So I don't know when this is going to happen again. We'll just have to hopefully soon.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I gotta bring everybody again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.